Tenacious Cousins podcast, episode 3.
3 or 2?
3.
4?
3.
3?
3! This is Cousino Taylor.
This is... Seidi?
Why do you struggle?
I don't know. I want
Why
to
do you
say
struggle?
sailor, or I want to say saddle. I don't know what I want to say, but I don't want to say Seidi. I don't know. It's like when you say my name.
Hello, everybody. This is Jessica.
And this is Henrietta.
Why would you give me... Out of all the basic-ass names that, like, are just instantly into your brain, Henrietta?
Henrietta's the one that pops into my head so much. I don't know. I've never met a Henrietta, but if I did, I think I'd like them. You know? Henrietta's
No.
out there. Let's be
If you
friends.
say you know, I can't say yes. Okay, everybody. Today, the topic is video game conspiracy theories. You can come to this with any video game conspiracy theory. I am specifically going to be touching on one specific Zelda one that I already have knowledge on. And Taylor...
We'll talk about, I think it's pronounced Polybius. Polybius? I don't know. We're just rolling with it. And then I also have a Pokemon one, which is kind of dark, so.
Ooh, which one are you going to start with?
I'm going to start with this, the Polybius one.
Okay.
Bam, wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am.
We can touch on that one too, Morgan, when I touch on mine.
I feel like there's a lot of Zelda ones.
There's so many, and I want to believe all of them, even though I know that they're like fan.
Well, yeah, I mean,
theories.
most of the conspiracies for video games are like
Oh yeah,
questionable, but like,
definitely.
you know, it's good. It's fine.
I think.
Hello, everybody. Okay, so do I just start? Do I just talk? What do I do?
Well, first of all, tell us what the theory is.
Okay, so I'm gonna like be reading off my phone for this because it's a lot of information. So basically, the gist of the Polybius like urban legend, conspiracy theory, whatever was in Oregon. In Portland, Oregon, in 1981, there was an arcade, and they had Polybius like game thingies. You know, whatever those things are called. What are they called?
Arcade machines?
Yeah!
Okay!
Yeah! And, when they were, like, brought to the store, they were there for, like, literally a month. They were, like, in the arcade for, like, a month. They made people pass out, people experienced nausea, people experienced, like, hallucinations, night terrors. All these crazy side effects were reported, okay?
From an arcade?
From this particular arcade game. But the weird thing is there's no evidence it ever existed, but there's reports of it. Okay, so that's kind of like the gist
This is a creepypasta.
of the Polybius like games conspiracy. And I was reading, so like they think it was government run to brainwash children to be trained as like soldiers for U.S. government.
With video games.
With video games, but like because like nobody knows if the game was even real, they think like, okay, maybe it was for that. Maybe the U.S. government was collecting data on kids to see if they could be like trained and like mind altered.
Okay.
Or it was made to like brainwash and was made as a game to test how these would affect people if they were like trying to torture them. So like
Oh my god, this crazy thing though
yeah.
is this is believable.
Mm-hmm.
This is not like so wildly out there that I'd be like, no, that's definitely a conspiracy theory.
Right, like some of them you feel like it is, and
you're like, okay, bro, calm down.
so yeah. I was reading like there's a lot of pictures online of like mock-up ones and
Of, like what they thought it looked like.
mm-hmm.
Kind of like the picture above here. For those of you listening, it's like a big green machine with a spooky looking.
It's an arcade game, you know?
Yeah, it's an arcade machine. Just I'm sure it wasn't called the Polybius conspiracy.
No.
It probably was called something else, but
No. So, like, basically, the game, like, to go on about it, the game, some guy in, like, 2003 came out and said he was the developer of the game. He said, I worked on this game, I wasn't really told why I was making the game, I just was making it. So this is why, like, it gets more into, like, a conspiracy than it is, like, an urban legend, because somebody came out and said, no, I worked on this.
Well, it's even more leaning towards that they were using it for kind of malicious things if the person who was making it doesn't even really know what it's for.
Right.
That's way more evidence rather than him being like, I know exactly what this is for, this is, yes, it's true. But if he's actually confused, that's more, like, eyebrow raising.
Yep. He said yeah. So basically 3 events started with children in Portland, Oregon in this, like, arcade around the same time. So, like, one kid, he got super dizzy and nauseous and sick from the game. And so that was, like, the first, like, case that started making people be like, what's happening? And then another kid had a seizure while playing the game. Okay. Reported. Reported. And then another one, a kid actually died.
Really?
So they said he was trying to beat a world record or something. Let me see. Yeah.
Ooh, I want to read Loxy's message. It actually is. He says, legitimate studies have shown that people's thought process can be changed if you use specific electronics near their head. Brain signals are really just small electric impulses. This theory isn't totally nonsense. That's why I'm kind of like...
Well, see, that's why I thought this was interesting, because, like, the Oculus and stuff, it makes you sick. It makes you nauseous. You can actually have, like, side effects from playing the games.
Or punch your TV like I did. So I thought for a moment I was there.
Yeah.
I was like, huh, bam! And then I was like...
Yeah. So, like, yeah, I agree with, like, Loxy, and it's, like, not totally weird. I was actually talking to you about this the other day. Like, I had like, a weird 2 a.m. thought about, like, DNA, and how, like, your genome is literally mapped to specific places, and, like, they can tell from looking at your DNA, like, what traits you have, and different things, and I'm like, we're just freaking giant computers! Like, people are, so I mean...
Yes.
Kind of.
Yes, Totoro, that does happen. But...
Yes. But what I mean is, like, in 1981, there were no VR, so, like, these side effects would have been so abnormal to people because there was no virtual reality. There was no, like, head Oculus. Yeah. There was, like, nothing like that. So, people were freaking out, right? So then the FBI actually came to investigate several arcades in the area 10 days after, like, these 3 events. Like, because they happened relatively close between each other. And so that's, like, where a lot of people think, oh, no, there's just, like, these 3 incidents, and the FBI showed up, so then people were like, conspiracy. Like, government. But...
Yeah?
How often does the FBI show up because somebody got sick at an arcade? Like, that doesn't happen. So then, you know, like, I feel like you have to be informed and, like, talk about both sides. So, like, the people who are, like, anti-conspiracy theory are gonna be like, well, yeah, but, like, back in the day, arcades were, like, for gambling and drugs and, like, stuff like that. So maybe that's why the FBI were there. But, like, nobody really knows. Because the FBI doesn't say, hey, we're in the area because we're taking a look at this weird video game. You know, they're not gonna do that.
So do you think they were using this to make them, not to make them soldiers, or to make, because anybody could be trained to be a soldier, or were they being trained to be, like, higher class, more, like, deadly soldiers that were using different parts of their thought process?
Good question, and that leads me to the second part of the conspiracy theory.
Perfect!
So, the reported, like, game studio that created this game back in the day is a German, like, an English combination of words in German. So it's not totally correct German, like, word construction. It's like English word construction, but German word. if that makes sense. So like, I don't know how this is pronounced, but I think it's pronounced Sinlotion, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, let me find where it says the name, and how like they broke it up. So basically, like sin means senses or something,
Okay.
and then the other one's to destroy or to delete.
Oh.
So to delete the senses. So then because of that, they're like, well, maybe this is like a foreign entity trying to like manipulate our youth to like be for them or whatever, you know, like kids.
Oh my god. That makes me wonder why.
Why?
I just don't know why they would, like, what exactly were the tests successful in any way? That's what I wish that I would know. Like, did they actually come out of this with any sort of
No, it's completely unknown. People don't even know if this is like
yeah, we don't even know if it's real.
They said that they made like 3 of these arcade machines and then like got rid of them a month after these incidents. So like the fact that there's so little information.
Oh, was it open to the public then, and any kid could play this particular arcade game?
Mm-hmm.
There was like normal arcade games in the arcade,
Mm-hmm.
but only this particular one.
There's a lot of like asteroids, Tempest. They reference a lot of like Cube Quest. Cube Quest was apparently based off of this game, is like what people think.
Okay.
Some of the people feel like the visuals and the graphics were so like ahead of their time that there's no like explanation for how they would have developed it back then. For Polybius,
Yeah.
not for Cube Quest, because that actually exists. And some people think, oh no, they're just getting confused. Polybius is actually Cube Quest. They're not the same game. Like,
Game is from future.
Game from future, maybe. I don't know. Nobody like said that, but my brain, my little tinfoil hat's like.
I do have to point out that maybe with Umio and or Wumi and Haley were saying with the whole like epilepsy thing. I wonder if this was just the first. That light just started flashing
Oh
above
my
the child's head. Like as soon as I said that, it was like. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Did anybody else fucking see that? That was kind of scary. I have to say that maybe this was the first arcade game that was causing epilepsy.
Okay, I saw it that time.
Okay, yeah, right? Cover it up! Cover it up with your head, Chow! Oh god. Oh my god, it looks like his head is glowing now! Okay, anyway, back to it. I'm gonna try not to let that distract me.
Okay. They know. The Chows know.
They know. I wonder if this was the first arcade game that was causing like these like epileptic seizures and stuff like this. Like maybe other arcade games didn't cause this yet for people, and this was like the one that was like hurting people because of something so extreme happening.
Yeah, and maybe like the government did step in because they were like, I don't want any weird like stories to come out of it. But then of course that's what happened because they stepped in. You know, who knows? Who knows?
Of course. Hello, Albert. Any what are the final thoughts on this?
So basically, you know, with the naming and the non-German speaking, like trying to create, I don't know. Basically, the like wrapping up this story is we don't know. The government could have been monitoring people. It could have been training people. It could have been an outside entity doing it. It might not have existed. It might have just been making people sick, and so the government was like, well, video games are kind of a new thing in, like, the 80s, right? Like,
yeah, they didn't have them perfected at all. They didn't know anything about it, really. It was just a new thing.
Like, so maybe the government did step in to, like, do that. Or maybe
maybe it was aliens. Conspiracy solved.
Aliens.
All right. I really don't like that.
Oh, okay.
I liked that conspiracy, but I don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
There are conspiracies that I want to believe, and I don't want to believe that one. My turn?
Yep, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here, for now, let me be in charge of this.
Okay.
I'm gonna need picture references.
Okay.
But you good, buddy?
Yeah. Just
okay.
have Mike arm right here.
Okay, here's that. So, I have, for those of you that weren't here in the stream yet, I have talked about this conspiracy one time in my conspiracy theory stream, which I had, like, literally feels like a year ago.
It was like a Zelda.
It was a one-time Zelda conspiracy stream, and I talked about multiple Zelda conspiracies, but this particular one is my favorite. I've thought about it so frequently. I know everything about it, and I have to give credit to the YouTuber Zeltic. I'll put his name. Zeltic. I don't know if he's the one who came up with this theory, but I watched his video, and I am 1000% sold. It is such a cool theory. And now it's gonna be even better because now that Taylor has beaten Ocarina of Time,
I just beat it. Woo!
I feel like she will, it'll like click.
Mhm.
Everything will make sense.
I'll understand it a bit better.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's see here. Let's show.
So, like, if you want to open the picture bigger, view image. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so this guy, Spooky. So,
What is
most
he?
of you who can see this know what this is. It's called a re-dead. Yes, this is my favorite theory. Mine's more about in the game. Taylor's was about a game.
Yeah.
Like real life. So, no, Loxy. The re-deads in Zelda, if you don't know what they are, they're basically like these freaky zombie-like humanoids that have like wooden carved masks, and they basically they screech and they sit there waiting for anybody to come through their area, and they mostly sit in tombs or graveyards, such things like that. What?
I have a question.
Yes.
So in Ocarina of Time, they're outside. They're in like the market area and castle.
I'm gonna talk about that.
Okay.
I knew this was I'm gonna talk about that.
So why are they there?
There's a reason.
Okay. I'll let you continue.
So the theory is that these characters are actually not evil. They're not part of Ganondorf's army.
Okay.
Because most of the bad guys in Ocarina of Time and most Zelda games are sent out into the world by Ganon, who is the lead bad guy.
Right.
This particular creature is thought to not even be relevant to Ganon, but they are thought to be created by the Sheikah. So if any of you know what the Sheikah are, it's a tribe that were very close with the royal family. They worked very closely with them. They were basically their personal, not guards, they had guards, but they were their personal, like, advisors.
Okay.
They literally did things for them. And the theory is that the Sheikah did some dark, ugly things behind the scenes.
So they weren't necessarily the greatest people in the world.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm starting to think that the Sheikah did some sketchy shit. Yes, like prototype guardians, exactly. So, in the theory, in the game, you only see these characters, with the exception of Hyrule Castle Town. They are only seen in tombs, graves, and like underground things. And this is not just in Ocarina of Time. This same creature shows up in tombs in Wind Waker, which is important for later. If you look at this character, he has a mask on, as if it was carved for his face. Where would he get this mask? It's carved out of the coffins that have like that are laid down in
the tombs.
In the tombs. So the reason that they think the Sheikah made these were to guard the royal family's tombs.
Okay.
But it turned out to be this like ugly, horrible creature whose only purpose is like a forever life in the tomb. Like, it's almost like not a curse. What is it like?
It's like
it's unfortunately gonna be alive forever to serve this one purpose, to guard the tomb.
Right.
Which is why anytime Link enters the tomb, they attack, because that's all they know. They're waiting for somebody to come in.
Okay.
So,
like, they never expected someone with good intentions to enter the tomb.
Exactly.
So they just always...
Exactly.
Okay.
So one of the reasons that they are in Clocktown is because they think after, like, the whole Hyrule 7 years later, they think that they, like, escaped somehow, or, like, somehow got out, or something collapsed or something. That's why they're in Castletown. But it makes sense that they would be in Castletown, because Castletown is where the Hyrule family is going to be close to. It's where they would bury their dead. It's near Kakariko Village. Like, they're there. Just makes sense that they would have gotten out somewhere there.
Okay.
But mostly they're in the tomb. So, the Shadow Temple, which you did,
yes,
and I just finished, has, like, torture chambers, blood, torture rooms, gates. Yeah, I said Clocktown. Whoops, sorry. That's a different game. They are misunderstood in a way. So it's almost like the Sheikah was using that space to create these creatures. They were doing dark shit down there.
The Shadow Temple?
The Shadow Temple. That's why there's, like, blood and, like, I don't know why this game was for children, because there was blood, there was cages, there was, like, X's where they hang people.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah, because I was like, why is this so creepy?
And it's like, wait, and then you have to think, why does that exist? Ganon wasn't using that. He didn't go down there and, like, torture people. He's got other plans.
Yeah.
He's trying to find the Triforce. So they think that the Sheikah created that for the Hyrule family to do their tests down there. Literal tests on humans. No one knows about them, though. Not very many people knew about the Sheikah clan to begin with, so it makes sense that they would keep this a secret. And it's under a well, it's hidden, it's all underground. So, with that being said, there's also more evidence to back this up, because if you look at a Redead sitting, he's not standing waiting for you. Some of them are, but if you walk past them, where are they? They're, like, sitting. They're doing in, like, the fetal position. They're doing this.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. It's hard to see, but they usually sit. They're crouched down in the fetal position. And the reason we think that they do this is it's because it's the only tie that they have left. So the fetal position is supposed to provide comfort for humans. Humans do that. Babies do it. They get in the fetal position to provide, like, comfort to themselves. It's just comforting for a human. So it's the last tie that they have to human life.
So they're human.
They're humans, but
like,
it's almost like the last string that they have to any sort of human, like, knowledge.
okay.
Like, they sit there waiting because it's almost like it comforts them in a weird way, like as if they needed comfort, because they're just sitting there waiting. So that, like, almost proves more that they're, like, dead humans that were given these masks as well. So the Sheikah decorated them, gave them masks, and were like, here you go.
You do this forever now.
Because why else would they have the mask? They wouldn't, there would be no need for them to have a mask if they were just there to terrorize people. And, you know, why would they need to put a mask on? They were given the mask.
Okay.
So, with that being said, the other thing, I think I'm gonna hide this real quick. Wind Waker also has these creatures.
Okay.
Redeads. They look much different, but it still backs it up in a weird way, because let's see here. Let's look at this guy. He's beautiful.
But again, the art and the graphics and everything is kind of different between this game and the other ones.
He's honestly, in Wind Waker, they are more terrifying to me.
Yeah, I don't like their faces.
Yeah, I don't like them at all. But
they have okay.
It's the same thing. They're in tomb. They're
don't...
only found in royal family tombs.
Okay.
So, and they're decorated. Do you see how they have tattoos and earrings?
Yeah.
They were decorated by whoever, the Sheikah, because they're almost kind of like...
Are they mummified people?
Probably. Something like that.
Because didn't they do that with mummies? They, like, did the mummification and then they adorned it and they painted it and made it pretty.
They
as
made
well
it
as
pretty
the coffin.
Because they're not to be murdered or anything. They're like kind of like held on a pedestal. Like, you are the guardian of the tomb. So we must decorate them, and that's why they have like earrings and special tattoos and stuff.
Okay.
But they're not supposed to die, so they live like this horrible, like, never-ending life. And that's why they're like, they sit there waiting.
Okay.
But another thing that shows this is the tombs that in Wind Waker, yeah, Redead.
And the only thing with the Wind Waker ones is they don't necessarily look like they're wearing a mask.
No, because I think in Ocarina of Time, the mask is like their adornment, and then in Wind Waker, it's like the tattoos and the earrings.
Okay.
It's like different forms of like
Okay.
giving them things. But what I think really sells it is this. This is in... Okay. It's so tiny. Why does it have to be so tiny? There's a picture here, if you ever play Wind Waker, because I know it's so tiny to see, but it's basically a statue, and it's the royal family's tomb. Like, the royal family had access to this place.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones who built it.
Mm-hmm.
And the hero of time has to go in here, and it's kind of like a trial to see if he's the real hero. He has to get through this, and if he beats it, he's the hero. So they knew he was going to come and get through this. This statue is a Redead. He's got the tattoos, he's got the earrings, he's got the body. You can't really see. For those of you listening, it's like 100% a Redead.
Yeah, I mean, just Google a picture of, what is this?
Redead statue, Wind Waker.
Okay.
He's got the ears are the same, the tattoos are the same. So you have to think about it. Why would the royal family build a statue of an enemy? They wouldn't.
No.
They wouldn't unless they had some sort of purpose. If you are trying to guard your place from somebody,
Who
you
says-
want to scare them with...
Yeah.
Yep.
But who says the royal family made this? How do we know?
Well, this...
How do we know it's not like an old, like, ancient thing that was there before and then the royal family just took over?
Well, see, that's... I think it's for sure that maybe... I don't know about the Sheikahs in the Wind Waker game. I don't know, like, where their place is exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the royal family is, like, shady.
Okay.
They, like, do shit behind the scene. But that's the theory,
Okay.
right? We don't know for sure.
I mean, just look at any, like, history book. Most royal families were a little fucked up.
A little fucked up, right?
A little messed up. Like, they did whatever they wanted.
Yeah, so, I mean, these tombs were not just... They weren't built by Ganon.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that we have to say. Like, it's not the main bad guy, which is typically why we think we're going through these dungeons in Ocarina of Time. We're going through these dungeons which are full of monsters that are sent by Ganon, but then there's this one particular monster that just doesn't line up. Why? Why are there not statues of other monsters?
And why don't they have, like, some sort of defense? I feel like every time we fight someone they have, like, a weapon, or they have, like, a spell, or they have, like, something that would
they're ready to
be
fight
a
Link.
defense. Like,
This one is just here,
and latches onto your face.
and they scream as kind of like an alarm. Like, there is someone here.
Okay.
Don't really need to scream. I mean, it does stun you. It does stun Link, so that's, like, helpful towards them. Maybe it's, like, one of their attacks, but I also like to think of it as, like, they are screaming because they are alerting someone that someone is there.
Dude. So, like, what? Why would they... Okay. So, if they are, like, to guard the royal tombs and stuff, why do they only show up in Ocarina of Time after you're a certain age? Like, once you get...
Well, see, you want to know what?
Because they're not there when you're young.
I think they are, though.
Oh?
I think they're just in the creps and stuff. I feel like they're there.
Like,
They're there, but you don't see them. Because, like, the world hasn't gone to shit and things aren't, like, all hell hasn't broke loose yet.
okay.
I feel like they're in the tombs. Because if you haven't played Wind Waker yet, but if you go into the tombs in Wind Waker, they're not just, like, hanging out, like, outside. They pop out of coffins. The coffin door, like, falls down and they're like, ah!
Oh my god.
Let's see what Morgan said. Maybe when the Red Deads go to hug people, it's because they haven't had actual human contact in forever and they're hoping to be saved. That is also another thing that I, like, kind of ties with the whole, like, fetal position. Like, they're latching on to anything that feels human. The
Okay.
last possible thing that feels human. I don't know if they're actually, like, wanting to hug people because they typically bite your head. They typically bite your head when they're hugging you, so...
Yeah.
But-
I mean, that could be.
all they know of human life is gone. Really.
Like, they're brainwashed by the Polybius game
Yeah,
to
like,
be soldiers.
literally, no, like, so I think they were, like, maliciously created.
It is interesting that when you Google search, like, just the Redeads and everything, Like, they are, like, similarities. They're, like...
They're just two different... like, the two creatures, I think, were made for the same thing, just in two different games. That's why they exist in the world.
The art is different between games.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's hard to say, but this is a mask as well, which kind of ties in with Ocarina, but if you look closely at, like, the ears, there's no doubt in my mind that is, like, 100%. Those are the ears.
Yeah, those are the earrings.
Like, that is... And then the arms, everything is the same.
Okay.
It's almost like they were... It's like... What do you... Idolizing. Not... but, like, I don't know how to explain.
It's like they're honoring them.
Yes!
For the purpose of, like, of protection that they're serving.
Yes. Like, they have a very important job.
Okay. Food.
I 100% believe that they are not put in by Ganon. They were created by the Sheikah for other purposes of protection of the royal family, because the royal family is going to do whatever they can to save themselves and what is important to them. Let's also remember in Ocarina of Time that Impa got away with Zelda. She probably came back after Link was gone within the 7 years. Yeah. Probably came back after Link was gone. Impa was like the last one, I feel like. But years before Link was even alive, they were shit going down. I feel like even before Zelda.
It's like they knew. They're just always prepared for, like, the worst.
Yeah, she could have released them into the world, but mostly against Ganon. I almost feel like
they were there to protect against Ganon?
Against the bad guys, not Link. But unfortunately, Link is the one who has to go through all of this.
And because they don't know anything, they only know, like, protect. They like,
only know protect.
They don't know, like, Link's okay. They don't know.
There's no way for them to know that. Otherwise, they'd be too human. They would have, like, cognitive ability.
Goose pimples!
Yeah. So, and then, I just want to touch on the thing Morgan mentioned, which I think is another good conspiracy. The guard. Let's see. Ocarina of Time. Guard in pot room?
Pot room?
The room with all the pots.
I know. Oh, the one in Ocarina of Time? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a room everybody knows in Castletown where you go to the right and there's a fuck ton of pots and you break them all.
Yeah, it was great.
There's a guard there.
A great time.
Yeah.
Got nothing from it.
But if you talk to him, he goes, he's like, says something along the lines of like, this is so boring. I wish something crazy would happen. Like, I wish something exciting would happen. Like, he says something a little dark.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, buddy, I'm gonna keep breaking pots now.
Yeah.
And so, he also says he loves... Yeah, he loves... Does he say that?
No, I think that's the other person. Nenners! Thank you for the prime!
Thank you for the sub!
But, no, the guy who loves Poe, isn't he later? When you're, like, adult Link, and he's like, I loved Poe, and you're, like, worried that...
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he,
Like, because I remember him and being like, what is he trying to do with the pose, man?
He says something... Guardhouse. He says, of course, I don't know if I'll be able to find it right now, but he does say something mysterious. He says something like, I wish something would happen. I wish something exciting would happen. Okay. So fast forward 7 years later, Guard's not there anymore. Shocker. There's a different person there. There's a different being there.
A different being?
A different being. This being.
Yeah, that's the person I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, yes. I remember this person and talking to them, and I got a weird feeling from them. I was like,
so
they're like asking for you to collect pose so that they can
This is actually not the best photo. This is the best photo because this is the accurate one.
That's what it looks like.
So the same spot, same room, 7 years later, this being is here. And then you're like, and he's like, oh, the great Ganondorf is here, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I love ghosts and everything. And then you're like, okay, but the theory is that they're the same person.
Yeah, so this person is the guard after
like he was
shit goes to
the fan.
Yeah.
Because he was spared by Ganon, because it's almost like the guard wanted some shit to happen. So Ganon was like, okay, I will make you this. And so there's reasons to back this up is, first of all, because the guards, how his mindset was that long ago. He's wearing a Triforce. Why is he wearing a Triforce? Why would a bad guy-ish be wearing a Triforce? The guards sport Triforces. He has a Triforce on his body, which almost symbolizes that he could have at one point been part of, you know, the royal family guard.
Right.
But now all he cares about is ghosts and stuff like that. Yeah, so I do believe they are the same, because why else would they?
I agree with you, and I mean, I haven't researched
That's
it
the
at
theory.
all.
It's a small one. It's a tiny one, but it's an interesting one, because you're like, oh.
Well, why is he so obsessed with the posts and the ghosts?
That
What
I
does he
don't
want to
know.
do with them? Like, I took it as a very dark and, like, kind of twisted way where he's like,
He does stuff with them?
yeah.
I don't know exactly what he's doing with the ghosts.
We don't know what he's doing with the ghosts.
But there also is another theory. There is one other theory that instead of being the guard, he could be the child from the graveyard. Grown up.
Oh.
Because there's reasoning for this. The kid has a stick and he walks around. He's like in
yeah.
the graveyard.
And there's all the Poes in the graveyard, so he would
He's
like.
surrounded by ghosts constantly. He might want to like hunt them when he gets older because they're bothering him. So now
Either that or he developed a fetish as a child.
something
with
weird
the
like that.
Poes.
So then this guy has a stick.
Yeah.
He's a human.
Yep.
He has human-like features, but at the same time, he's not. So out of those two theories, which one is more likely? You know, the guard one makes sense, and the little kid makes sense. The Triforce, though. Well, he was a villager. He was a village of Kakariko Village. It wouldn't be that weird if he got this from somewhere.
Right.
But like I said, you don't
I
know.
like both. Both of them are interesting to me.
Yeah. So that's kind of like how I'm feeling about the whole Zelda stuff. I just think it's so interesting. People just come up with this shit and they're like, this is definitely the case.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 tacos left. Oh my god, Penny. Yeah, so I mean, that's all I got. That's my favorite one. To this day, I will always think the Redeads are not really evil. They're not really bad. They're good.
Okay, I'm trying to get, like, this one, it's really, okay, so there's 2. There's one that's, like, sorry, I'm moving on to the next conspiracy theory, which is the Pokemon one.
I'm ready.
I have 2, but, like, one of them's, like, kind of dark, and I don't know if, like, I have that much information on it, and same with the other one, so I guess I'll just go over both.
Okay. To answer Morgan's question, do I have any Twilight Princess theories? No. Not today. I have researched them, but I don't have them in my brain.
Well, you'll do that when I beat that game.
Yes.
Okay.
Taylor can't know yet.
I can't know. Okay, so basically... Oh, wait, yeah. What
Warsaw said?
Yeah.
100% what Warsaw said.
Because, like, it's very common, it's a common theme, it could be for any reason.
It literally, yeah.
So basically, one of the Pokemon theories that, like, I've found and was interested in is big questions for red, green, and blue games.
Wait,
of
what?
red, green, blue Pokemon games. That was, I don't know. Green says Japan only.
Oh, okay.
So,
I was
like-
that's why I was literally like, green? What the fuck is green?
Green is Japan only, apparently.
That makes
so,
sense. That
okay.
makes sense.
So basically, in this particular game, I guess I've obviously never played these, so
Must be an interesting theory then.
I thought so because I played a lot of like the beginnings of Pokemon games. I've never beaten them, but like I've also watched the show and stuff, so I know stuff kind of. But basically, the big question is why are there very few middle-aged men and women? Most of the people are kids. Most of the people are very young. Most people are teenagers. There's very, 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 very select few adults. Half the time, the players or players' friends, like their parents, there's only the mom. You never see a father figure. You never see anything like that. And the theory is that there was a war.
Literally, Albert called it before you said that.
Because of the Great War? Yeah, because of the war.
Ooh, is this like stated in the show?
I don't know.
Okay.
So basically, like, so basically they say, like, it doesn't seem to appear to have a lot of, like, parents, or, like, you know, maybe they're, like, older, like, way older than, like, they wouldn't be, drafted for the war or whatever.
Yeah.
And they like make note that there's very few adult gym leaders. They're all very young, teenagers,
They
kids.
are. They usually are, yeah.
So
From
basically,
experience.
the reason they say is a war in the Kanto region.
Albert says that there's plenty of context throughout the Pokemon canon that there was a big war.
Okay.
Like a Pokemon war?
Like a Pokemon, like a war. Like, I don't know what war, but yeah, this is interesting to me because I never
I
noticed
thought this was like
it.
a peaceful land where everybody
like-
was just like,
Oh, we like Pokemons.
caught a hedgehog!
Ah! What?
Hazel derp. Okay, anyway, continue.
So basically, a gym leader in Vermilion City describes how the electric Pokemon saved him during the war. So there are references in the game
Okay,
to suggest a war. So like,
there may actually be facts.
yeah, like it's not completely like crazy. So
Okay, right.
some speculate there was a war in Kanto with massive casualties, causing a gap in generations. This explains why Professor Oak gives Pokédex to every new trainer who ventures out into the world, because they're young and all the people who had them before were in the war and shit. Like, you don't have them anymore because war.
Oh my god.
This would be a very effective way to either collect or verify information lost during the war.
Okay.
So they're like they're regathering knowledge that they had but was destroyed.
Okay.
And
This is weird.
then and to determine which species of Pokemon survived.
Oh.
Because casualties and, Pokemon in the Pokemon universe are like the wild animals, like, they're
Yeah.
like the things you would find if you went on a camping trip. So
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
they want to see which ones survived, which ones like so
They're using children
yeah, they're
to document them?
in a sense, yes.
Oh my god! So they're just like, I'm gonna go catch Pokemon!
Yeah.
And then Professor Oak was like, take this with you and scan everything you see! And then Ash is like, okay!
But yeah, I don't have a lot of information, but here, I found this link. Yeah, so in Leaf Green, Red and Fire, or
Leaf green, red fire, and blue something.
I don't know, but basically, whatever his name is, he has no parents. He's pretty much an orphan who's raised by his grandfather, Professor Oak.
Gary?
Gary?
Gary Oak?
Oh yeah, I missed the parentheses.
Gary Oak is butt face.
Yeah, I mean that's the conspiracy. Like, I feel like it's likely if they mention it a lot in the game, like.
So it
that
was
there's a
basically
war.
they sent the people that were old enough to go to war.
Yeah,
war.
like basically back in the day there were like drafts.
Did they die?
They must have.
They all died.
They all died. There's like so many children in that game, but no adults except for Professor
Wait,
Oak.
so did they just all have kids, go to war, all die, and now there's just like this weird gap in?
Well, like even in the new Pokemon, like your friend only has a mom.
They only ever have moms.
That's what I mean. Because like that was like a very common thing. Like the men would be drafted into the war, and then the women would stay home and take care of the children. That is like
Why do I feel this way?
upset.
Yeah.
Cause
Upset? Yeah, like Gen 3 had a dad. Well, maybe they stopped going with that.
yeah,
But
like
in the
as
beginning
times like progressed,
They were like, okay, this is getting a little out of hand here, people.
maybe we should have a dad in there. But yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, Xavier. The theory only works for the first couple games, which would make sense because
Mhm.
they're probably following like the lore of the game
Mm-hmm.
in the series.
Right.
That would make sense. I always did wonder where Ash's dad really was, or all of the kids' dads. And why were they like released into the world? They were released so young into the world to go on these adventures, but like Ash is actually so young.
Yeah.
His Mr. Mime. No.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty much that one. I'm not gonna go over the other one because it's kind of weird and like I feel like we had a good time. The other one's just dark and I could not find a lot of information, but it was like one of the older games. Is the only mention of like Pokemon dying, like actually dying, and there's the graveyard.
We could question, what do they eat in this planet?
What do they eat?
What do they eat in Pokemon World? Because
do they eat animals? I've seen them grilling stuff.
Do they eat Pokemon and nobody talks about it? Is Pokemon a form of protein, or is vegetables solely and like fake veggie meat? They eat Pokemon, I think.
I think they do.
They've grilled Magikarp. They eat Pokemon, and why is that weird?
That's weird because they can communicate with their trainers. So it's like eating something that would be able to tell you, no, I don't want to be eaten.
Yep. It's in the anime. Okay, I was certain that they did eat them, but it's never really quite like, it's just weird. Like, because when the Pokemon battle, they don't die. They just battle until one of them gets knocked out, and you never really see Pokemon die in this game. Charmander almost died, Pikachu almost died, but they never actually die.
That's why the graveyard in this other theory was like a huge thing, because it was like it confirmed that they do die.
Yeah, because you're like, do they just live forever? They go through Pokemon trainers, or it's weird. I feel like it's never really. I haven't watched the newer Pokemon, but I was a hardcore Pokemon fan as growing up, and I never thought that they died. It was not even a thought. I never thought that they ate them. I never thought that they died. I was like, you pick a Pokemon and then done. You live your life with them, and then they move on.
Yep. But like
they don't.
But where do they go?
Yeah, what do they do when you die? They just keep living?
Do they find new trainers?
I think now it's easier to
cook the ones that don't communicate.
Wait, what about Meowth? Meowth can straight up speak English.
That's what I mean. That's like
Meowth can talk.
If they are like sentient in that way, like do they just have like?
And then like imagine them eating a Meowth, not the Meowth. Imagine them eating a Meowth. And then what would Meowth say?
Oh,
Does he just not give a fuck?
Yum. My friend.
Parrots can talk. We eat chicken still. True, but that's.
But parrots talking is more like mimicking sounds.
They're mimicking.
Versus like conversational.
You can say to a parrot 100 times, "Don't eat me," and you can say to a parrot 100 times, "Eat me," and he's gonna say whichever one that he picks up on.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he knows what they mean.
And like, yeah, they have intelligence, like animals do, but
they can get scary smart. Yes, I do agree, but I think all of the Pokemon are that smart. Most of them. All the imagine if all the animals on the world could eventually speak. That would be kind of scary.
That would actually be scary.
If they could eventually, like, if Maya and Pancake,
the chickens would uprise.
Oh, the chickens would so uprise. We would die. We would die, getting pecked to death.
Death by peck.
Death by peck. Cuckoos! In Pokemon X, there was this guy who loved his Pokemon. The war began, and the Pokemon had to take part in said war. That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, were they Pokemon trainers that ended up doing the war with their Pokemon? Like, the war was fought with the Pokemon.
Yeah, they probably used
instead
Pokemon.
Of, like, weapons. Like, you know, because wars in our life are fought with guns, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
like, back in the day, you know, they used animals to, like, hunt and, like...
horses for riding and... Dude, that's kind of scary. I'm like, now I'm sitting here like, we could go into this rabbit hole and we don't know.
There's so much to the Pokemon, like, universe that there's, like, loopholes and we don't know.
Yeah. You guys all have really good, you have all really good thoughts on it. Like, there was a war. I almost feel like we could say that was confirmed.
I think there was. I mean, if there's mention of it by NPC characters, then like...
Yeah. But then that leads me to the question is, who was the war with?
And like, why did it happen? And
why did it happen? And
like, imagine a Pokemon game set in the war.
Where they fight back with Pokemon?
Where you train your Pokemon team so that you can fight in the war.
That would be such an interesting game.
That would be like a very dark.
What about
Pokemon
like
game.
a Pokemon game, which is kind of exactly like what are the games where you're like it's like Hyrule Warriors where you're running around but you're fighting masses of enemies, like a Pokemon game like that, but you're like a Pokemon and you're killing masses of Pokemon. Like, can you imagine? Oh my god.
And then like if you captured one, you could just like make it part of your team, but like
switch them out. All right, you guys. Well, we hope we got your brain flowing. We hope we explained it the best we could.
What was your favorite conspiracy theory? And which ones did we not talk about?
Yeah, what was your favorite, and what's your favorite that we didn't talk about? Let us know in the Discord. Join Taylor's Discord, !Discord. Let us know. In 1 hour, we will be doing ice cream bonding in my Discord. So, if you're in my Discord, you're welcome to be there as long as know you for the most part. And yes, cousin, it's on my channel. So
bring ice cream and
yeah, or if you don't have ice cream, just bring a snack.
Eat some broccoli.
Yeah. So we will see you guys later today. We will see you guys. Follow our YouTube channel if you want to see this podcast. We're gonna post it on there. We post all our podcasts, and we post a video every Friday about just random shenanigans. So
our last one was we made ramen.
We made ramen. That was fun, actually.
It was delicious.
It was very good. It was white people ramen.
It was white people ramen, but that doesn't mean it wasn't good ramen.
It was still good.
White people can have ramen too.
All right, we don't rate or anything for these. We just end, but let us know your thoughts. We'll have a discussion, and yeah, we love you all, and thank you for being here. Even though we don't respond as much, we still appreciate your guys' presence and love you, and we do read what you say. So, anything else?
Peace out, bitches.
Talk to you guys later.